Happy Sabbath, you guys. I haven't done a video in about maybe 4 weeks. Of course, I've been counting. Don't want you guys to think that I forgot. Okay. But of course, January 27th, my grandma passed, so I had to fly to Chicago. I was out there about 2 weeks, preparing the things for my grandma, for her to be buried and, her going away service, along with my family. After that, I came back and went to Colorado, to gather with my Israelite sisters. Well, we had a great time, we celebrated Sabbath, watched movies together, and we just became spontaneous dancing and everything, just having fun. Me, I am outgoing, as you guys see in that video. I ain't got a problem with dancing, even though I don't know how to dance, okay? Hey, but I got my own rhythm. And of course, I went through my own little stuff, I did put a post on there, about you guys, comment on something I like, and I appreciate that, because of course I'm human as well, and I go through my little trials and tribulations and everything. It consisted of a bit manipulation by somebody, but I'm good now, and with all you guys' help and assurance, it helped me to know that, hey, I'm okay. It wasn't me, it was that person. So I appreciate all you guys' love, okay? But anyway, shalom to you guys. I'm going to do this video, and this is a sticky situation, the video I'm going to do because it's going to be about the mixing of seeds. And I do expect a lot of, feedback and controversy because of this video. But it's like I really don't have a choice to do the video. I tried to think about it like, should I do it, talking to several people and everything. But, the fact is, I go on, look at this thing called Open Diary and just look at other things. Open Diary is real good. And I go on YouTube and, I be doing a little browsing and everything. And you know what keep coming up? The mixing of seed, right? And I did ask the Father to reveal to me the truth, about the mixing of seed, okay? So every time I would go on YouTube or just, go to browse to look at something in relation to the Father's word, the mixing the seed come up, And like I said, I was talking about people doing it because the last time I put something on Facebook about the mixing the seed, I got some feedback that was, kind of uncomfortable, and to the point where I locked my post and I had to lay back and do a little bit more study and research before I came back. But you know what? Right now, I have received confirmation to do it. Okay, so I have to follow follow the Father's commands and everything. And I truly believe He want me to do the mixing seed. Or I wouldn't keep on running to these videos about mixing seed and tell me more about the mixing seeds. It's just too many of them. And then even when I go on Facebook, you have people talking about mixing the seed. So look, hey, the time has come where I have to do my video about the mixing of seed. Okay. And the resources I'll be used today to do my video about the mixing seed, it is called Regain Identity. Now, I don't have a physical book. I have it on PDF. It's kind of hard to get that book, okay? And Regain Identity this was made by Rosa M. Williams, also known as Sooty Face. It was made in 1978, and it talks about the Bible and the Book of Mormon. So you guys see, the Book of Mormon been there for a long time. Now, if this lady published this book in 1978, which consisted of both sticks, the Bible and the Book of Mormon. The Book of Mormon been around for a long time. And as the Father said, He will reveal knowledge to us, okay? And she talked about the mixing of seed. And what I did was took the time to write down chapter 3, okay? Took me a long time to write it down. I think 11 pages worth. But I think it was important because I asked the Father, to reveal things to me that I need to know. And He did. And this right here was very powerful. And she broke it down so clearly where we all can understand. And she actually dedicated this book, to the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob, and the God of Joseph of Egypt, who is one God, the God of our forefathers, who has given us back our identity and promised us to make us a nation of people again. Out of His spirit and love, this book was made possible. So again, you guys, I don't have this book physically, but I have a PDF. And if anybody want this book, I can send it to them through PDF. Like, this book will tell you who you are, what tribe you come from, and everything. Tell you about the mixing the seed, the things that the nations did that brought the curses to us. But it's a very deep book, and it has great history in it that you will be able to learn. You learn about what nation you come from, who you are, what happened to our ancestors, the reason why the curses fell upon them. And she breaks it down well. And also, about the the sons of Joseph, Manasseh, and Ephraim, and then the Lamanites, which is Ephraim and Manasseh together, which would be the Indians, and the blacks, interrelationships, which brought upon Lamanites, which is the mixing of Ephraim and Manasseh. Ephraim, like I said, Ephraim and Manasseh are Joseph's two children. And I am from the tribe of Ephraim. That's how I learned, by reading this book. And then when you go further in your history in the Bible and everything, it also teaches you that. Okay. All right. So with that being said, you guys see, I did write down chapter 3. Okay. So I'm going to read this to you guys. All right. Because I think you guys need to hear it. Okay. So it go 11 pages, but I want you guys to open your ears, okay, please, and listen clearly, right? Now, if you can see clearly, then see what I'm saying, okay? And I will leave the references and everything of the Bible and everything, okay? Now, so we're going to start chapter 3 of Regain Identity, and the title of the chapter is What Happened to Our People. This is on page 29 of Regain Identity, the book. Again, I have it in PDF. If you guys need it, let me know. I can send it to you through PDF because really you guys need to read it. All right, here we go. The children of Israel remained in Egypt. All 12 sons of Jacob died, there as well as Jacob the father, who had died before. Before Joseph died, he saw Ephraim's children to the third generation and also the son of Manasseh, Machir, and some of his children as well. Sometime after Joseph died, there arose a king in Egypt who did not know Joseph. He became fearful of the children of Israel because they had grown in number and had become a mighty people. He feared that if a war broke out involving Egypt, the children of Israel might join with the army. Therefore, this king made the lives of the children of Israel bitter with hard bondage, in mortar and in brick and in all manner of service in the field. He also ordered that the Hebrew midwives kill every son born of a Hebrew woman, and he wanted the daughter saved. But because the midwives feared God, they made excuses why they couldn't carry out the king's wish. In the meantime, the children of Israel continued to multiply and wax mightily. Pharaoh then ordered his people to throw every son that was born into the river, but save the daughters. This is where the daughter of Pharaoh found the infant Moses and became her son. Most of you know how the story goes, how God spoke to Moses in Mount Horeb after he fled out of Egypt. I am sure you remember the story of how God commanded Moses to go to Pharaoh and how he commanded Moses to bring the children of Israel out of Egypt and out of bondage. When Moses led the children of Israel out of Egypt, out of 400 years of hard bondage, our seed of Ephraim was there among the children of Israel, and came out of Egypt with them. After the children of Israel received the 10 commandments, it was Joshua, who was the son of Nun, who was of the tribe of Ephraim, who led the children of Israel into the promised land. In the promised land, Joseph's seed received their inheritance along with the other 10 tribes received their inheritance. In fact, the seed of Joseph received a greater portion than the other tribes. As you probably know, Joshua was a servant to Moses. For it is written, and Joshua spake unto the house of Joseph, even to Ephraim and to Manasseh, saying, Thou art a great people, and hast great power. Thou should not have one lot only. So it's telling you, you should not have one inheritance and one land only. You should have plenty of land, okay? And that is in Joshua 17:17. However, after the generation of Joshua died out, there arose another generation that did not know the Lord, nor the works God had done in Israel. In this generation, the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord and began to serve Balaam and to follow after the gods of the people who were around them. At this point, the Lord began to deliver them into the hands of their enemies. Nevertheless, the Lord also raised judges who delivered them out of the hand of these who attacked them. However, the children of Israel, among whom Ephraim was dominant, would not listen to the judges, but went a-whoring after other gods. The following account is written in the book of Judges. So what I'm going to read now is written in the book of Judges. But I said there were Balaam, and I'm also going to use the word vex and the word grove. And I just want to tell you guys what these words mean, okay? Balaam. You can reference that in Revelations chapter 2, verse 14, the Holy Bible, Numbers 31, 8, or Numbers chapter 31, verse 8, and Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 4. And these are all of the Holy Bible. Now, it says the doctrine of Balaam, who taught Balak to cast a stumbling block before the children of Israel, to eat things sacrificed unto idols, and to commit fornication. So the doctrine of Balaam cast the stumbling block and before Israel, to persuade them to, eat things that was sacrificed unto idols and everything, and to commit fornication, all right? Vex, the word vex means like to irritate, make angry, to plague, to torment, harass, or to afflict, like problematic, frustration, worry, difficult, or much debated. You can reference that in Ezekiel 32, verse 9, and Acts chapter 12, verse 1 in the Holy Bible. And grove. Grove is like properly a wooden image or a pillar representing Ashtoreth, a sensual Canaanitish goddess, probably usually set up in a grove. And you can reference that in the Holy Bible of 2 Kings chapter 21, verse 7, and also 2 Kings chapter 23, verse 4. If you want to learn more about Balaam, Vex, and Grove, okay? Because those are very important words. Now, okay, as I said, the following account is written in the book of Judges. They turned quickly out of the way which their fathers walked, in obeying the commandments of the Lord, but they did not so. And when the Lord raised them up judges, then the Lord was with the judge, and delivered them out of the hand of their enemies all the days of the judge. For it repented the Lord because of their groanings, by reason of them that oppressed them and vexed them. And it came to pass, when the judge was dead, that they returned and corrupted themselves more than their fathers, in following other gods to serve them and to bow down unto them. They ceased not from their own doings, nor from their stubborn way. And the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel. And he said, because that this people had transgressed my covenant, which I commanded their fathers, and have not hearkened unto my voice, I also will not henceforth drive away any from them of the nations which Joshua left when he died, that through them I may prove Israel whether they will keep the walk of the Lord to walk therein, as their fathers, and did keep it, or not. Therefore the Lord left those nations without driving them out hastily, neither delivered he them into the hand of Joshua. That's Joshua chapter 2, verse 17 to 23. Okay. Now, so he asked this question. So what happened to our seed now that was among the children of Israel? Right? Again, so we asked this question. So what happened to our seed now that was among the children of Israel? Along with the rest of the children of Israel, they began to enter into wars with the nations who had inhabited the lands before the Lord gave them to them. The children of Israel took the daughters of these nations to be their wives, and gave their daughters to the sons of these people among whom they dwelt. In addition, they served other gods of these nations. The nations in which the children of Israel did these things were the nations of the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Hivites, Philistines, Perizzites, and the Jebusites. So as it was in the days of Noah, the sons of God began to marry daughters of men and began to serve their gods. So you see that? Our ancestors, this was an abomination of God to go intermarry with these other nations and everything. Because it was like 12 tribes, right? Okay, we could marry within our own tribe, okay? Now, because they was marrying to these tribes, they started following their own gods, following their gods and everything, bringing strange wives into the nations and everything, Okay. From this time on, the children of Israel went from periods of doing evil to periods of crying unto the Lord for forgiveness when they did evil. The Lord left them to their own strength and delivered them into servitude into the hands of Gentile nations. When they cried to him for forgiveness, he raised up a judge to deliver them. Following is a brief account of the people or nations into whose hands the house of Israel was delivered, and the judges who were raised up to deliver them. Our ancestors, the seed of Ephraim, were there. So we're from the seed of Ephraim, you guys, okay? And they was there in Israel when all this was going on. After the children of Israel began to do evil in the sight of the Lord, and to serve Balaam and the groves, the Lord sold them into the hand of Chusha-Rishathaim, king of Mesopotamia, where the children of Israel served for 8 years. When they cried unto the Lord raised up Othniel, Caleb's younger brother, to deliver them. There was peace for 40 years. Then Othniel, the son of Kenaz of the tribe of Judah, died. The children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord sent Eglon, the king of Moab, against him. The children of Israel served Eglon for 18 years. The children of Israel cried unto the Lord again. Then the Lord sent Ehud, a Benjamite, the son of Gera. Ehud slew Eglon with the dagger, then led the children of Israel against the Moabites and defeated them. The children of Israel had rest in the land for 80 years. After Ehud, Shamgar slew the Philistines and delivered Israel. When Ehud died, the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord again. The children of Israel was sold to them into the hands of Jabin, the king of Canaan. Canaan oppressed the children of Israel for 20 years. This time the Lord sent Deborah, a prophetess who judged Israel in Mount Ephraim, and Barak against Sisera, who was the captain of the host of Jabin. And the Lord delivered Sisera into their hands. The land of Israel had peace then for 40 years. Israel did evil again in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord delivered them into the hands of the Midianites for 7 years, until they cried again to the Lord for deliverance. The Lord then sent Gideon, whose name was also Jerubbaal, to deliver them. Gideon was from the tribe of Manasseh. Gideon was hesitant, but he did what the Lord commanded him to do and saved Israel. The men of Ephraim also came down against the Midianites, and Gideon subdued the Midianites. There was peace for 40 years then. After Gideon died, the children of Israel went whoring off Balaam and made other gods again. They forgot about the Lord who had delivered them from all their enemies, and neither did they show kindness to the house of Gideon. After Gideon's death, his sons Abimelech went to Shechem and enticed the men of Shechem to make him king over them. Shechem was one of the habitations of the tribe of Ephraim. The children of Israel did this, and Abimelech hired vain and foolish men who followed him as he went to his father's house, and slew or killed all of the 70 sons of Gideon, except for one who had hid himself. After 3 years of reigning over the men of Shechem, God sent an evil spirit between Abimelech and the men of Shechem. Abimelech spent the rest of his days fighting them until he was hit by a piece of a millstone in the head and had to be slain by one of his armor bearers. God did this to Abimelech because he had slain 70 of his brothers. Tola of the tribe of Issachar rose up next to defend Israel. He judged Israel 23 years and died. Jer was the next judge who judged Israel for 22 years and died. Again, the children of Israel began to do evil in the sight of the Lord and served the gods of Syria, the gods of Zidon, the gods of Moab, the gods of Ammon, the gods of the Philistines, in addition to serving Balaam and Ashtaroth. The Lord was angry with Israel once more, so he sold them into the hands of the Philistines and to the hands of the children of Ammon. The children of Israel were vexed for 18 years on both sides of the Jordan. The house of Ephraim was sore distressed along with them. Once again, the children of Israel cried unto the Lord and admitted that they had sinned against him. They also put away their strange gods and served the Lord. The Lord became grieved for the children of Israel and sent Jephthah to deliver them from the children of Ammon. In addition, God delivered the Amorites into the hand of Israel. Jephthah also fought against the Ephraimites and slew 42,000 of them. He judged Israel for 6 years. After Jephthah, Ibzan judged Israel 7 years. Elon judged Israel for the next 10 years. Then Abdon judged Israel for 8 years. After Abdon died, the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the Lord. This time, God delivered them into the hands of the Philistines for 40 years. God then sent Samson to deliver the children of Israel. Samson judged Israel for 20 years. After this time period, that is after the reign of the judges, each man did that was right in his own eyes, for there was no king in Israel then. No, there was not a king in Israel until Samuel, the son of an Ephrathite, who was born of his mother Hannah, who had been barren for a long time. But Hannah had prayed unto God for a child, and the Lord blessed her with a child named Samuel. Because God had blessed Hannah with this child, she loaned the child to the Lord as long as he lived. Samuel ministered before the Lord as a child under the priest of the Lord's house. In those days, the word of the Lord was precious, and there was no open vision. See, in those days, it was precious. These days, everybody is just following their own precepts, or saying what they believe is right. There was no open vision in these days back then. Okay, but these days, the latter days, hey, everybody got their own type of perception of everything. We really don't stick strictly to the verses or the scriptures of the Bible, which we should. One day, God called Samuel 3 times. Some years later, when Samuel got older, the Lord appeared unto him again in Shiloh and revealed himself to Samuel. Samuel became a prophet, and the word of Samuel came to all of Israel. When Eli, who was a priest who had judged Israel for 40 years, was 98 years old, the Philistines fought with Israel and slew over 30,000 footmen along with Eli's sons, Hophni and Phinehas. Fulfilling the word that God gave to Eli, that both of his sons should die in one day, because they did not walk in the ways of the Lord. In addition, the Philistines took the ark of the covenant of the Lord out of Shiloh. Later, the ark of the covenant was returned because it caused the Philistines too much trouble. During this time, all the house of Israel lamented after the Lord for 20 years. Then the prophet Samuel, who was the faithful priest God had said he would raise up to do according to whatever was in the heart and mind of the Lord, coming to the children of Israel and told them to turn unto God, put away their strange gods, and prepare their hearts unto the Lord and serve him only. This the children of Israel did, and the Lord heard the prayers of Samuel for the children of Israel. The next time the children of Israel went up to battle against the Philistines, God subdued them, and they came no more into the coast of Israel. The hand of the Lord was against the Philistines all the days of Samuel. The cities which they had taken from Israel were restored, and there was peace in the land. Samuel judged Israel all the days of his life. When Samuel was old, he made his son Joel and Abiah judges over Israel. But his sons walked not in his way, but turned aside after lucre, took bribes, and perverted judgment. So the elders of Israel all gathered together and went to Ramah to see Samuel. They reminded Samuel that he was old and of waxed-way paths in which his son walked. They asked Samuel to make them a king to judge them like all the other nations around them. Although the request displeased Samuel, he prayed unto the Lord. The Lord said unto Samuel the following: Hearken unto the voice of the people in all that they say unto thee. For they have not rejected thee, but they have rejected me, that I should not reign over them. According to all the works which they have done since the day that I brought them out of Egypt, even unto this day, wherewith they have forsaken me and served other gods, so do they also unto thee. And that's 1 Samuel chapter 8, verses 7 through 8 in the Holy Bible. Now, and this was what Rosa Williams was talking. She was referencing back to what she had wrote. She said, are the above words not so even to this day? Because it's still going on this day. I write this account. Now, the reason the Lord said that it was they were rejecting and not Samuel was that he had been their king up to that point. Although God told Samuel to hearken unto the voice, he also told him to protest solemnly unto the children of Israel and show them the manner of the king that should reign over them. Thus, Samuel told the people how the king would reign over them and make them service unto him and make them till the soil, reap the harvest, make them instruments of war and instruments of his chariots. He told them how the king would take their best men servants, maid servants, young men, and their asses and put them to his work. He told the children of Israel that a king would take a tenth of their sheep and they would be servants unto him. Even though Samuel told them that they would cry out in that day because of the king which they would choose, and even though he warned them that the Lord would not hear their cries in that day, the people still desired a king. Therefore, thus began the reign of the kings over Israel. Under the reign of the judges, we saw that our people, as part of the children of Israel, was sometimes obedient, but sometimes disobedient. They went a-whoring from under their God and started following the gods of the countries around them. In addition, the sons of God married the daughters of men and gave their daughters to marry the sons of the Gentile nations around them. These acts displeased God. More importantly, the children of Israel served the gods of the people with whom they intermarried. Next, we shall follow the children of Israel under the reigns of the kings. For our people, the tribe of Ephraim, were among the children of Israel. As we look at what happened to our people under the reign of the kings, keep in mind that the children of Israel started out as one nation with one king. They remained one nation under the kings of Saul, David, and Solomon. When we have completed our trek into our history, I think we will have to declare, as all men have declared through all ages of time, just is the judgment of the Almighty God. And you can reference this in the Bible of Genesis chapter 6, verses 1 through 6, and chapter 50. You can reference it in Exodus chapter 1 and 2, the entire book of Judges, 1 Chronicle chapter 7, verse 28, Joshua chapter 24, verse 32, 1 Samuel chapter 1 through 8, and chapter 2, verse 27 through 34. Okay? And again, this book is called Regain Identity. You want to know where you come from? You want to know your identity? This book is Regain Identity. And I'm not even sure you can buy it on the market anymore. But, as I said, I have it on PDF. If you guys want it, I don't have no problem with sharing it to you because I want you guys to know your history. I want you to know where you come from. I want you to know why you're in the predicament you're in right now today. All right. So, I read that. Now, I'm just going to go to some verses in regards to the mixing of seeds. But I want to start with Luke chapter 16, verse 15, okay? So we got to know that anything that's highly esteemed by the man is abomination to God, which basically saying anything that's common that we doing is abomination to God. So why don't we think that us marrying all these other nations is not abomination to God? It's common, right? The Father said, do not be of this earth. Of the things that go on the earth, we should separate ourselves, right? So that means in order for us to serve God and be on the right track, we have to separate ourselves from the earthly things that goes on in this world. So again, anything common that men love, it's abomination to God. Because we got to think that God don't think like us or anything, okay? The way we do things and think things, no, he don't. But he given us the tools we need, to go down that narrow path to receive eternal life, okay? Because basically this whole earth right now is embroiled, right? And remember, the broad way leads you right to destruction, okay? And that's why most of us going straight to hell. Remember, we have to separate ourselves from the earthly way of doing things. And again, anything that's common to man that men highly esteem of is abomination in God's eyes. So I would go with Luke chapter 16, verse 15 in the Holy Bible, okay? All right. So Luke chapter 16, verse 15. Okay, come on, page. All right. And this is my quad Bible, as you guys see. The Holy Bible, the Book of Mormon, Doctrine and Covenants, and a Pearl of Great Price. Okay. Luke chapter 16, verse 15. Okay. Here we go. And he said unto them, Ye are they which justify yourselves before men, but God knoweth your hearts. For that which is highly esteemed among men is an abomination in the sight of God. Right? And just to reference again with regain identity, I'm going to talk about Joseph and how the king that didn't know Joseph, after he died, put all the children in bondage and everything. Okay, and I'm going to read from that, the Holy Bible, Exodus chapter 1, verses 7 through 10. All right. And I'm going to read the header, actually. The children of Israel multiply. They are placed in bondage by Egyptians. Pharaoh seeks to destroy his sons born to Hebrew women. And remember when Joseph died, it was like he had in peace and everything. But when that new king came around, after Joseph died, he didn't know Joseph. So he kind of like dealt wisely to try to get Israel out of land, okay, by putting them in bondage. All right. So again, Exodus chapter 1, verses 7 through 10 in the Holy Bible. Starting with verse 7. And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied and waxed exceedingly mightily, and the land was filled with them. Now there rose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, Behold, the people of the children of Israel are more mightier than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them out of the land. Yep, that's what that new king said. Okay, they dealt wisely with us. They felt like we was mightier and greater than them, so they plotted against us. Okay, to put us in bondage, to get us out the land, so they can be control over us. Okay, and it's just how it is. Even today, you know how we in some form of captivity. We got to go to certain people who are Gentiles for everything we need: school, work, water, clothes. We got to go to them, right? So prior to that, we had our own everything. We was rich and loved, and we cared about one another. But because this king, felt like that we was greater and mightier than him, he put an end to that. Okay, he wanted to put us in bondage and get us out that land. Okay. Right. So now we're just going to talk about setting a king over the Israel family, right? And with this one, I will go to Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 15 in the Holy Bible. All right. So Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 15 in the Holy Bible says, Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord thy God shall choose. One from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. Thou may not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother. And just to talk a little bit about the stranger, I believe that's in Deuteronomy 10, chapter 18 and 19. So I'm not saying that we can't love strangers, we can't love Gentiles. Because remember, yes, we're supposed to love all. We're supposed to help them, we give them food, we can give them some of our land, we can do all that. But to love a stranger is to give them food and raiment, not marry them, okay? Because when you marry them, you start watering down your seed, okay? So Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 18 to 19 just tells you how to love a stranger. And the Holy Bible. And again, chapter 10, I'm going to start with verse 18 and go through up to 20. I'll read to 20, okay? Verse 18, He doeth execute the judgment of the fatherless and widow, and loveth the stranger. Remember, and loveth the stranger in giving him food and raiment. That's all you hear about that, right? So we like to add on and take away. But again, it says, to love the stranger is to give him food and raiment. Help him. Give him food. You can teach him. Take care of him. Do all that. But you don't marry the stranger. You are to set a king over from your brethren or from your tribe, not a stranger, okay? Because remember, those are other gods, and they serve other gods, and have different sacrifices and everything, okay? Our God is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? And we need to follow his laws and his commandments, okay? Chapter 19. Love ye therefore the stranger, for ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. Thou shalt fear the Lord thy God. Him shalt thou serve, and to him shalt thou cleave, and swear by his name. See, we love him and everything. You love that stranger. You help that stranger. You don't turn your back on that stranger or that Gentile. Help him, but you don't marry him, okay? Remember, to love a stranger is to give them food and raiment. Don't deny him. Show that love, because remember, the Father is about love and compassion. So we want to make sure we practice love and compassion only, okay? All right, so now I am going to read some scriptures more about strangers, and I'm going to go to Judges chapter 10, verse 13 through 16 in the Holy Bible. And let's talk about the strangers, okay? All right, again, Judges chapter 10, verse 13 through 16 in the Holy Bible. Starting with verse 13. Yet ye have forsaken me and served other gods. Wherefore I will deliver you no more. Go and cry unto the gods which ye have chosen. Let them deliver you in the time of your tribulation. And the children of Israel said unto the Lord, we have sinned. Do thou unto us whatever seemeth good unto thee. Deliver us only, we pray thee, this day. And they put away the strange gods from among them and served the Lord, and his soul was grieved for the misery of Israel. So remember, the children of Israel kept sinning against God, right? And what he do? He kept delivering them and everything, right? Delivering them, okay? But the last time, when they desired to have a king over them, who was Samuel's son, both of the sons, and Samuel was telling them, like, trust me, you're going to be going through all this. You're going to be a servant. Everybody going to take control of you. But no, because we always want to lean to man, they wanted to have man control them as a king, which completely destroyed their dreams, right? That's why God said, no, go cry to them. He will not hear them no more. That's what they chose. So therefore, when he cried to them, when the people of Israel cried to them, there was no more hearing that. Because as you see, so many kings and so many judges, he delivered from them. He delivered them from. He delivered the people from their enemies, by allowing judges and kings, to go save them. But they did it over and over and over and over again, just like us today, just over and over and over again. And because of the Father, love and compassion, he kept delivering us, right? But, sometimes things got to end, right? So it did come to that point. Now I'm going to cry out to other people. That's what he's telling you. So now, basically, we're going to talk about the mixing of seeds. And I will start with Solomon first, okay? And that would be 1 Kings chapter 11, verse 4 through 11. In the Holy Bible. All right. So 1 Kings chapter 11, verses 4 through 11. All right. Start with verse 4. For it came to pass when Solomon was old that his wife turned away his heart from other gods. And his heart was not perfect with the Lord his God, as was the heart of David his father. Remember, because Solomon was David's father. For Solomon went after Ashereth, the goddess of the Sidonians, and after Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites. And Solomon did evil in the sight of the Lord, and went not fully after the Lord as David did his father. Then Solomon built an high place of Shemosh, the abomination of Moab, in the hill that is before Jerusalem, and for Molech, the abomination of the children of Ammon. And likewise did he for all his strange wives, which burnt incense and sacrificed unto their gods. And the Lord was angry with Solomon, because his heart was turned from the Lord God of Israel, which had appeared unto him twice, and had commanded him concerning this thing, that he should not go after other gods. But he kept not that which the Lord commanded. Wherefore the Lord said unto Solomon, for as much as this is done of thee, and thou hast not kept my covenant and my statutes, which I have commanded thee, I will surely rend the kingdom from thee, and will give it to thy servant. And you see, because Solomon did not want to follow the commandment and go marry these strange wives and go against God, and be turned away from his God, he took his kingdom away from him and gave it to his servant. Right? So the God do punishes us, Remember, because the wages of sin is death, and nobody is perfect. We all fall short of the glory. We all sin in our own little way, okay? But the thing is being wary of it. Remember, the best experience is learning from your experience. That's the best teacher. Okay, don't never let nobody tell you that. But if you don't learn from your experiences, then it's just like some type of fool or something. Okay, because it's the best teacher. It's to learn from your experiences. It's like knowing right from wrong. We sit there and put our hand in that hot water as a kid. Woo, that burned. Oh, okay, not gonna do that again. It's just that simple. 1 + 1 = 2. Okay. And now we're going to go to these scriptures. And, these scriptures is just blatant. You can understand them. And it's literally talking about the mixing of seed, okay? Point blank, period. But I'm going to go with Ezra first. Ezra chapter 9 and 10. I'm going to read a little bit of that. So you can know when they did marry these wives, they knew they was in the wrong. They started getting rid of the wives, okay? It was abomination to God. And I'm going to start with the header, actually. All right, so Ezra chapter 9 and chapter 10. So, chapter 9, the header says, many Jews intermarry with and follow the abominations of the Canaanites and others. Ezra prays and confesses the sin of all people. Verse 1. Now when these things were done, the princes came to me, saying, the people of Israel and the priests and the Levites have not separated themselves from the people of the lands, doing according to the abominations, even of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, and the Jebusites, the Ammonites, the Moabites, the Egyptians, and the Amorites. For they have taken of their daughters for themselves and for their sons, so that the holy seed have mingled themselves with the people of those lands. Yea, the hand of the princes and rulers had been chief in this trespass. And when I heard this thing, I rent my garment and my mantle, and plucked off the hair of my head and of my beard, and sat down astonished. Then were assembled unto me every one that trembled at the words of God of Israel, because of the transgression of those that had been carried away. And I sat astonished unto the evening sacrifice. And at the evening sacrifice I arose up from my heaviness, and having rent my garment and my mantle, I fell upon my knees and spread out my hands unto the Lord my God, and said, O my God, I am shamed and blush to lift my face unto thee. My God, for our iniquities are increased over our head, and our trespass is grown up into the heavens. Since the days of our fathers have we been in a great trespass unto this day. And for our iniquities have we, our kings and our priests, been delivered into the hands of the kings, the lands to the sword, to captivity, and to spoil, and to confusion of face, as it is this day. And now for a little space, grace had been shewed from the Lord our God, to leave us a remnant to escape, and to give us a nail in his holy place, that our God may enlighten our eyes, and give us a little revival in our bondage. For we were bondmen, yet our God had not forsaken us in our bondage, but had extended mercy unto us in the sight of the kings of Persia, to give us a reviving, to set up the house of our God, and to repair the desolations thereof, and to give us a wall in Judah and in Jerusalem. And now, O our God, what shall we say after this? For we have forsaken thy commandments. which thou hast commanded by the servants the prophets, saying, the land unto which ye go to possess, it is unclean land, and with the filthiness of the people of the lands, with their abominations, which have filled it from one end to another with their uncleanness. Now, therefore, give not your daughters unto their sons, neither take their daughters unto their sons, nor seek their peace of their wealth forever, that ye may be strong and eat the good of the land and leave it for inheritance to your children forever. And after all that is come upon us for our evil deeds and for our great trespass, seeing that thou our God hast punished us less than our iniquities deserve, and has given us such deliverance as this, should we again break thy commandments and join in affinity with the people of these abominations? Wouldst not thou be angry with us? Thou hast consumed us, so that there should be no remnant nor escaping. O Lord God of Israel, thou art righteous, for we remain yet escaped, as it is this day. Behold, we are before thee in our trespasses, for we cannot stand before thee because of this. See those trespasses, you heard them? Because they went and they married these strange wives, and they knew it was trespassing. And they feel like the Lord didn't even punish them, what they felt they deserved for their trespassions. They knew that was wrong, and they prayed out and cried out, In chapter 10, now I'm going to read a chapter, header of this, okay? It says, Jews covenant to put away wives taken from Canaanites and others. Ezra assembles the people of Jerusalem. Levites who marry strange wives are listed. Now, that prime thing says, Jews covenant to put away wives taken from Canaanite and others. So remember, that other are non-Israelites, are people not from their tribe. So we can say, oh, it was only those Amorites, Jebusites, everything, Jebusites, whatever. People who are non-Israelites. Those are strangers, okay? Point blank, period. So we can make ourselves believe we want to believe and feel like, oh, no, he just said that about them nations. No. Strangers, which is a non-Israelite, right? So he wants you to stay within the tribes, so that seed can be holy and don't be watered down. Because you got to remember, when you mixing seeds, you having these children, they don't know what God to follow, okay? All right. So I'm just going to read a little bit of this right here so you can guys just see what happened, okay? With these strange wives, they gave them back, okay? Verse 1, chapter 10 of the Holy Bible, and Ezra, E-Z-R-A. Now when Ezra had prayed, and when he had confessed, weeping and casting himself down before the house of God, there assembled unto him out of Israel a very great congregation of men and women and children, for the people wept very sore. And Shechaniah, the son of Jehiel, one of the sons of Elam, answered and said unto Ezra, we have trespassed against our God, and have taken strange wives of the people of the land. Yet now there is hope in Israel concerning this thing. Now therefore, let us make a covenant with our God to put away all the wives, and such as are born of them, according to the counsel of my Lord, and of those that tremble at the commandment of our God, and let it be done according to the law. Arise, for this matter belongeth unto thee. We also will be with thee. Be of good courage and do it. Then arose Ezra and made the chief priests, the Levites, and all Israel to swear that they would do according to this word, and they swear. Then Ezra rose up from before the house of God and went into the chamber of Johanan, the son of Elishib. And when he came thither, he did eat no bread, nor drink water, for he mourned because of the transgression of them that had been carried away. And they made proclamation throughout Judah and Jerusalem unto all the children of the captivity, that they should gather themselves together unto Jerusalem. And that whosoever would not come within 3 days, according to the counsel of the princes and the elders, all his substance should be forfeited, and himself separated from the congregation of those that had been carried away. Then all the men of Judah and Benjamin gathered themselves together unto Jerusalem within 3 days. It was the 9th month, on the 20th day of the month. And all the people sat in the street of the house of God, trembling because of this matter, and for the great rain. And Ezra the priest stood up and said unto them, Ye have transgressed and have taken strange wives to increase the trespass of Israel. Now therefore make confession unto the Lord God of your fathers, and do his pleasure, and separate yourselves from the people of the land and from the strange wives. Then all the congregation answered and said with a loud voice, As thou hast said, so must we do. Again. Then all the congregation answered and said with a loud voice, As Daus has said, so must we do. But the people are many, and it is a time of much rain, and we are not able to stand without. Neither is this a work of one day or two, for we are many that have transgressed in this thing. Let now our rulers of all the congregation stand, and let all them which have taken strange wives in our cities come at appointed times, and with them the elders of every city, and the judges thereof, until the fierce wrath of our God for this matter be turned from us. Only Jonathan, the son of Ashel, and Jahaziah, the son of Tikvah, were employed about this matter. And Meshullam and Shabbatai, the Levite, helped them. And the children of the captivity did so. And Ezra the priest, which certain chief of the fathers, after the house of their fathers, and all of them by their names, were separated, and sat down in the first day of the 10th month to examine the matter. And they made an end with all the men that had taken strange wives by the first day of the first month. And among the sons of the priests, there were found that had taken strange wives, namely of the sons of Jeshua, the son of Josadak, and his brethren, Messiah, and Elijah, and Jerib, and Gedaliah. And they gave their hands that they would put away their wives. And being guilty, they offered a ram of the flock of their trespass. And of the sons of Immer, Hananiah and Zebediah, and of the sons of Haram, Messiah and Elijah and Shemaiah and Jehiel and Uzziah, and of the sons of Pashur, Elani, Masai, Ishmael, Nathaniel, Josabad, and Elasa. Also of the Levites, Josabad and Shammai and Kaliah, the same as Kalida, Pethahiah, Judah, and Eliza. Of the singers, also Eliashib, and of the porters, Shalom, Telem, and Uri. Moreover, of Israel, of the sons of Perosh, Ramiah, and Josiah, and Malchi, and Mayaman, and Eliza, and Malchijah, and Benaiah, and the sons of Elam, Mattanai, Zechariah, and Jehiel, and Abdi, and Jeremoth, and Eliah, and of the sons of Zatu, Eliahnai, Eliashib, Mattaniah, and Jeremoth, and Sabad, and Ziza. Of the sons also of Bebai, Jehohanan, Hananiah, Zabai, and Athli. And of the sons of Bani, Meshullam, Malach, and Adiah, Jashub, and Shil, and Ramoth. And of the sons of Apttmh, Adnah, and Shalel, Benaniah, Messiah, Mattaniah, Bezalel, and Benal, and Manasseh. And of the sons of Haram, Elijah, Ishijah, Malchiah, Shemaiah, and Shimeon, Benjamin, Maluk, and Shemariah. Of the sons of Hashem, Mattanai, Metanthah, Zabad, Eliphalet, Jeremiah, Manasseh, and Shemai. Of the sons of Bani, Madai, Amron, and Ui, Benaiah, Bedai, Shelu, Benaiah, Merimoth, Elishabib, Mattanai, and Jalso, and Bani, and Benu, Shemi, and Shelemiah, and Nathan, and Adiab, Machanadabai, Shashai, Sharai, Azareel, and Shalemiah, Shemariah, Shalom, Amariah, and Joseph. Of the sons of Nebo, Gia, Mattahai, Zebai, Zabina, Jadu, and Joel, Benaiah. All these had taken strange wives, and some of them had wives by whom they had children. You see, all those people, it was a lot of them. So, this has been going on, since our ancestor days, okay? And the father did not like it, and that's why they had to put away so many, because they knew it was a trespass against God, and it still goes on today. We want to go marry all these Gentiles and marry, and leave our tribe to be, when it does water down the seed, okay? We wonder why we're in so much chaos and everything. Once Israel come back together and start following God's laws and commandments the right way, this world will be at peace. But until then, we're going to go through this. We are coming together, we're being gathered. But remember, only a remnant going to be saved. Most of the world is going to hell, right? So this very thing right here, be careful what you do, how you intermarry and everything, because it's an abomination to God, as you see. And all those people I just read had strange wives that they put away, Now I'm just going to go a little bit more into scripture. So I'm going to go to Deuteronomy Chapter 7, verse 6 through 15. And it's going to also talk about the marriage of wives and the Canaanites and the Philites, all that, All right, so Deuteronomy Chapter 7. And I'm going to do, I'm going to go verse 1. And I'm going to jump over a little bit, okay? And this is the Holy Bible. I'm going to start with the header. Israel to destroy 7 nations of Canaanites. Marriages with them are forbidden, lest apostasy result. Now, that apostasy, that word, is very important. I mean, forsaking the laws. You disobeying the laws, okay? So apostasy means that people are really leading you to forsake the laws, okay, and don't follow laws and commandments. Israel has a mission as a holy and chosen people. The Lord shows mercy unto those who love him and keep his commandments. He promises to remove sickness from Israel if they hearken. So just remember, you can't be just go through life in peaceful without sickness and just, be preserved, right? But it's following the laws, right? And actually, I think it was 5 laws: dietary, civil law, moral law, sacrificial law, and ceremonial law, right? But that sacrificial law is done away with because now Jesus is our sacrifice. But those other laws, moral law, dietary law, civil law, and ceremonial law, okay? Those 4 laws we need to follow. And in addition, we're following the laws and commandments, okay? Follow those things. It's really not hard. You just got to put your mind to it. You just got to separate yourself from the world, okay? And just congregate with people who do those things, and it'll be easier. All right, so now I'm starting verse 1 of Deuteronomy Chapter 7 in the Holy Bible. When the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and had cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites and the Girgashites and the Amorites and the Canaanites and the Perizzites and the Hivites and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. And when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor shew mercy unto them. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto her son. Daughter, thou shalt not take unto thy son. For they will turn away the son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly. But thus shall ye deal with them. Ye shall destroy their altars and break down their images and cut down their groves and burn their graven images with fire. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God had chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. The Lord did not set up his love on you, nor choose you, because ye were in number than any people, for ye were the fewest of all people. But because the Lord loves you, and because he would keep the oath which he has sworn unto your fathers, had the Lord brought you out with a mighty hand, and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Know therefore that the Lord thy God, he is God, the faithful God, which keepeth covenant and mercy with them that love and keep his commandments to 1,000 generations. So we say left that covenant, the covenant to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right. Okay. So yeah, that was Deuteronomy, the header, chapter 7, verses 1 through 9. And let me go to Numbers 36. What do I have right here for 36? What? 36. Okay. Chapter 36, verses 6 through 7 in the Holy Bible. All right. So, Numbers chapter 36, verses 6 through 7 of the Holy Bible. Well, verses 6 through 13 in the Holy Bible. I'm going to read the header, okay? Daughters in Israel directed to marry within their own tribe. Inheritance should not move from tribe to tribe. Should I start? No, actually, I'm going to start with verse 1, okay? Verse 1. And the chief fathers of the families of the children of Gilead, the son of Machai, the son of Manasseh, of the families of the son of Joseph, came near and spake before Moses and before the princes, the chief fathers of the children of Israel. And they said, the Lord commanded my Lord to give the land for an inheritance by the lot to the children of Israel. And my Lord was commanded by the Lord to give the inheritance of Zelophehad, our brother, unto his daughters. And if they marry to any of the sons and if they marry to any of the sons of the other tribes of the children of Israel, then shall their inheritance be taken from the inheritance of our fathers, and shall be put to the inheritance of the tribe whereunto they are received. So shall it be taken from the lot of our inheritance. And when the jubile of the children of Israel shall be, then shall their inheritance be put unto the inheritance of the tribe whereunto they are received. So shall their inheritance be taken away from the inheritance of the tribe of our fathers. And Moses commanded the children of Israel according to the word of the Lord, saying, the tribe of the sons of Joseph had said well, this is the thing which the Lord doeth command concerning the daughters of Zelophehad, saying, let them marry to whom they best, only to the family of the tribe of their father shall they marry. So shall not the inheritance of the children of Israel remove from tribe to tribe. For every one of the children of Israel shall keep himself to the inheritance of the tribe of his fathers. And every daughter that possesses an inheritance in any tribe of the children of Israel shall be wife unto one of the family of the tribes of her father, that the children of Israel may enjoy every man the inheritance of his fathers. Neither shall the inheritance remove from one tribe to another tribe, but every one of the tribes of the children of Israel shall keep himself to his own inheritance. And even as the Lord commanded Moses, so did the daughters of Zelophehad. For Mahlah, Tirzah, and Hoglah, and Milcah, and Noah, the daughters of Zelophehad, were married unto their father's brother's sons. And they were married unto the families of the sons of Manasseh, the sons of Joseph, and their inheritance remained in the tribes of the family of their father. These are the commandments and the judgments which the Lord commanded by the hand of Moses unto the children of Israel in the plains of Moab by the Jordan near Jericho. Okay. Now, I'm going to read First Esdras, chapter 8, verse 69 and 70. No, I think that's is that in the Apocrypha? Maybe in the Apocrypha, yeah. So also I'm reading the Apocrypha as well, you guys. Yeah, so yeah, it's in here. The Apocrypha, okay. All right, so first Esdras, chapter 8, verses 69 and 70. Is that it? I'm in second. Oh, that's second Esdras. I need to go to first. All right here. All right, so first Esdras, chapter 8, verse 69 and 70 in the Apocrypha. The nation of Israel, the princes, the priests, and Levites have not put away from them the strange people of the land, nor the pollutions of the Gentiles, to wit, of the Canaanites, Hittites, Perizzites, Jebusites, and the Moabites, Egyptians, and Edomites. For both they and their sons have married with their daughters, and the holy seed is mixed with the strange people of the land. And from the beginning of this matter, the rulers and the great men have been partakers of this iniquity. From the beginning, it's never been right, but we chose to do it. But remember, that covenant that he made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob will only come to pass if you are following the laws and commandments. So don't think that covenant gonna come to you if you want to feel like, oh, I'm of this world and everything, and everything is come and I want to do because it seems like it's right because everybody doing because it's a norm. You're wrong. It's an abomination to God. All right, and then I'm also gonna go to First Esdras chapter 9, verse 7 and 13 in the same book, starting with verse 7 in chapter 9. So Esdras arose up and said unto them, ye have transgressed the law in marrying strange wives, thereby to increase the sins of Israel. And now by confessing give glory unto the Lord of our fathers, and do his will, and separate yourselves from the heathen of the land, and from the strange women. Then cried the whole multitude, and said with a loud voice, like as thou hast spoken, so will we do. But forasmuch as the people are many, and it is foul weather, so that we cannot stand without, and this is not a work of a day or two, seeing our sin in these things is spread far. Therefore let the rulers of the multitude stay, and let all them of our habitations that have strange wives come at the time appointed, and with them the rulers and judges of every place, till we turn away the wrath of the Lord from us for this matter. All right. And actually, I'm going to stay in the Apocrypha and go to Tobit, chapter 4, verses 12 to 13. You're not going to hear too many people read these verses because remember, we go through certain verses and certain scriptures to satisfy our own egos, right? But remember, you have to, study the Bible and guide people in spirit and truth. Give them the truth, no matter if they convict you or condemn you, right? But in order to be on the right track and to go down that narrow path, we have to follow the Bible and the whole truth. Not overlooking parts or not perceiving them because you want to do this, because you want to satisfy your lust of this earthly world. No, it don't mean that. It means the full truth and going by the scriptures, okay? And not overlooking them to satisfy the next person, but being truthful about God's work in all your ways. All right, so we're going to go to Tobit. And that is chapter 4, verses 12 through 13 in the Apocrypha. And starting in verse 12, it says, beware of all whoredom, my son, and chiefly, wholesomely, all the way, 100%, okay? Beware of all whoredom, my son, and chiefly take a wife of the seed of thy fathers, and take not a strange woman to wife, which is not of thy father's tribe. For we are the children of the prophets Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Remember, my son, that our fathers from beginning, even that they all married wives of their own kindred, and one blessing their children, and their seed shall inherit the land. Now, therefore, my son, love thy brethren, and despise not in thy heart thy brethren, the sons and daughters of thy people, and not taking a wife of them. For in pride is destruction and much trouble, and in lewdness is decay and great want. For lewdness is the mother of famine. Okay. So you guys see, I just read a lot of scriptures pertaining to the mixing of seed, and that you probably even never heard. Or, people just not going to read that because they going against it, right? So all this intermingling and intermarrying, you got, so many people, dealing interracial and marriage, you are watering down the holy seed, okay? Remember, he said, what is a mammoth or a bastard? They won't even get into the kingdom, okay? And then also you got this person of one race and that person of another race, what's going to happen if something happened to one of the other person of that different race? Who do the child follow? It's really confusion. Remember, God's not the author of confusion, Just set an example. I'm just going to talk about a celebrity who was married, he was black and he had a white wife, whatever, Mexican, whatever. He died, right? Him and his child died, right? He alienated his mom and his sisters and everything, the black people, these Israelites. He alienated them to give it to a whole Gentile nation. Died, right? Remember, because of, the Bible said, if you don't obey your mom and father, your days will be short-lived, right? But this celebrity, not only did he just really disobey his mom, but he alienated her. Even this lady and his dad, allowed him to go cross country and, doing these kind of sports and everything, to help him be successful. What he do? Alienate them, alienate his Israelites, went to go marry a whole nother nation, a Gentile, right? So what happened when he died? Those same Gentiles that was so-called his child Nana trying to sue him upon his death. Everything go to them. Everything go to that Gentile nation. Leaving the mom and them just high and dry. Okay? And this your family. This is your bloodline. But you decided to think, you got all this money, get big heads, start looking beneath your Israelites, your black queen, and put her down and go and marry this Gentile nation, and give everything to them. And what happened? The father took you right on the way, right? See, we have to be careful. The Bible speaks truth. That man was young and died young. And you can't take that money with you. Now, all you have earned, your mama just left on out. This Israelite, this black queen, left on out. It goes to the Gentile nation. This same Gentile nation is trying to sue you upon your deathbed. What did the Bible say? Lying is their native language. So we can make ourselves believe what we want to believe, okay? But, history shows that, and it still goes on right now to this day. Even though we try to feel like, oh, no. That was back in the old days. Oh, no. We all come from ancestors of slavery, okay? Our history is slavery and in bondage and in captivity, okay? And as soon as we get ahead, it's people's jobs to bring us back down, to make us, try to make us, to believe we are who they think we are. But prior to all this captivity, we was rich, right? When we was enslaved over here, from a trans-American slave trade, they took all our garments and put us on rags and sent us over here throughout the world, 4 corners of the earth, and throughout the isles of the sea, taking all our garments, make it look like we was just dirty and dusty and broke. No, okay? That was the program that in people's minds, but we weren't enriched. Okay, we were in fact rich. We had love, we had compassion, we had our own land, we had our own everything. We had carpenters, farmers, engineers, agriculture, everything. We was conquering the world until we allow our own selves to be deceived. The same exact thing that's going on today. Okay, so like I said, I have read the scripture, you guys, and for these mixed seeds, let's say these scriptures again. Judges chapter 10. Verse 13 through 16 in the Holy Bible. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6 through 15. Also chapter 17 through 15 in the Holy Bible. Numbers chapter 36, 6 through 13 in the Holy Bible. Numbers chapter 36, 6 and 7 in the Holy Bible. And do you know what? Did I even read Numbers 36? Yeah. In the Holy Bible. Ezra chapter 9 and 10. Deuteronomy chapter 10. Verses 18 through 19, Exodus chapter 1, verses 7 through 10, Luke chapter 16, verse 15, and for the Apocrypha, Tobit chapter 4, verses 12 through 13, First Esdras chapter 8, verse 69 through 70, and First Esdras chapter 9, verse 7 through 13, okay? Hey, this was just confirmation. It kept coming and coming that I had to do this, right? And I know a lot of people not going to like it, but it's fine because remember the Bible also say the ones who they go against all the time normally be the ones who's right, okay? Hey, we have to agree to disagree. I speak bold like the heart of a lion. Shalom. Love you guys. Goodbye.